Hello everyone, my name is Arti and you're watching HW News. As the Russian invasion of Ukraine enters 7th day, thousands of Indian students are still stuck in Ukraine. They are taking shelter in underground metro stations, bunkers, some are left with limited supplies of food and water. A decent 2 square meal has become a luxury most of them cannot afford. The ATMs don't have money, they cannot access their own bank accounts. Many of them who are now reaching bordering areas to leave Ukraine are finding it difficult to arrange for a transport. Many of them set out on foot to reach the bordering areas in the dangerous situation where bombings and explosions have become very common. They have walked hundreds of kilometers to reach the border areas in a hope that they will be able to cross the border and get back to safety. But their troubles don't end there. On the borders, many students complained they allegedly had to face racism at the hands of Ukrainian soldiers. The soldiers were not letting them cross the border, some students were beaten up, tortured and abused. Some soldiers at the border opened fire at them. In a -5-degree temperature, these students for days in a relatively unknown country's remote corner, stuck between the war, are trying to save their lives. Going days without food or water or even a decent loo or a roof over their head. Some of them managed to escape the horrific conditions and cross the border to reach Romania, Poland, Hungary or Slovakia, from where they will be evacuated by the Indian government, but many still cannot. And one of them was Naveen. A 21-year-old student from Karnataka's Haveri, Naveen Shekarappa was studying in 4th year MBBS at the Kharkiv National Medical University. According to reports, he stepped out of his room on Tuesday to buy some food for his other Indian friends. He was in a queue of a grocery store outside a metro station when he was killed, reportedly in a Russian shelling. 4 days before this, he had spoken to his parents in Haveri over a video call. Little did his father know that it would be the last conversation he will ever have with his son, that it would be the last time that he would be able to see his son alive. During this call, Shekarappa told his son to place a large Indian flag outside the building to ensure that it is not targeted by either Ukrainian or Russian forces. On the morning of the 1st of March, moments before he was killed, Naveen called again, but he could only talk to his mother. Minutes later, when his father called back, there was no response from Naveen. Later, the family got the tragic news of their son's death. Here is the last video call he had with his father.
ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಫ್ಲಾಗ್ ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಹೇಳಿ ಅಂತರಿಗೆ ಅದು ಮರಿಬಾರ್ದು.
ಈಗ ಬಂಕರ್ನಾಗ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಅದರಿಪ್ಪ ಈಗ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಾಗ 8% ಹೋಗ್ಯಾರ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ. ನಿಮ್ದು ಯಾಕೆ ಇದಾತ, ನೀವು ಬರೋದು ಯಾಕೆ ಇದಾತ?
One can hardly imagine what his family must be going through. A decent middle-class family who sent their kid to study in other country with hopes and dreams, but only to see him never return. I am making this video today not only because I feel sorry for their tragic loss. I am making this video because I am infuriated. Infuriated because even in grief, even when he was dealing with the shock of not being able to see his son's face, he was forced to justify why did he send his child to study in other country. I'm infuriated at the lack of empathy some people are showing towards thousands of students just like Naveen stuck in Ukraine. This video is for all those people, and this video is also for the families and parents of those students stuck in Ukraine who are frequently asked, what was the need to send your child to study in a foreign country? Well, earlier this week, Union Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi claimed that about 90% of Indians who study medicine abroad fail to clear qualifying exams in India. While I believe that his statement is completely tone deaf, let us also not forget that those blaming Indian students in Ukraine for their misery think the same. So let us understand, why do Indian students go out of India to study medicine? Every year, lakhs of Indian students go abroad to study. According to a data provided by the Ministry of External Affairs in Rajya Sabha in 2021 July, total of 11,33,749 students were studying in foreign countries. The number would have been changed by now, but this is the most recent data I could find. This data by the government says about 18,000 students were studying in Ukraine at the time it was presented. So thousands of students every year choose Ukraine as the destination to complete their studies. Overwhelming number among them are medical students. It is a general notion that students who cannot clear tough exams here, who have got less marks, go to countries like Russia or Ukraine or Kyrgyzstan to study medicine. But that's not the whole truth. One of the reasons why students choose to go out to study is studying MBBS in these foreign countries is relatively cheaper than studying MBBS in India. 60% of the Indian students who go out to study medicine prefer either China, Russia or Ukraine, China being the first preference. These countries generally offer 6-year MBBS course. Let us look at the price-wise comparison of medical education costs in these countries and India to get a bigger picture of what exactly is the issue here. This is a rough estimate that I am going to talk about. In China, Russia, Ukraine or Kyrgyzstan, a student would require about 35 lakh to 55 lakh to study medicine, which includes the fees of the college, living cost for 6 years, and even the fees of the screening test upon returning to India. If the student chooses well-established college or university in these countries, the cost will be around 20 lakh to 35 lakh. In a lesser-known university or medical college, the cost would be 18 lakh to 25 lakh. In China, where the students are taught allopathy as well as Chinese systems, the cost would be around 11 lakh to 13 lakh. Considering there would be living expenses per annum which would be around say 1,25,000 or 1,50,000, they spend approximately 9 lakh for 6 years. Add to it the flight fare back to India annually between 25 to 40,000. Upon returning to India after completing their education, they have to clear a screening test called FMG for license to practice. For that, they need to go to a coaching class and a consultant who helps them with documentation. Consultant charges fees ranging from 2 lakh to 5 lakh depending upon how much you have paid on your college fees. So, for example, more the college fees, more the charges. Coaching classes charge around 1 lakh to 2 lakh every month. Add to it food and accommodation charges, that total can go around 35 lakh to 55 lakh. This is done through education loan. Now, if you think that this amount is huge, you will be shocked to hear the cost of medical education in India. In India, for a 4.5 years of MBBS course, management quota seats, fees are approximately 30 lakh to 70 lakh. NRI seats costs even higher, between 90 lakh to 1.6 crore. If you are from middle class family background, you can understand the pressure of fees if you are a student of a medical college in India. But as I said, cost is one of the main reason is the fierce competition. Every year, close to 7 to 8 lakh students pass NEET, which is the medical entrance exam. But the number of seats in colleges are not even half of it. In entire India, the medical seats are just about 90,000. Half of them are in government colleges and other half are in private colleges. One requires very high NEET scores to get into these government colleges. Even in private colleges, the government quota seats require high NEET scores. On the other hand, there are 20,000 management quota seats. The competition is so fierce that you can understand from Naveen's example. Naveen's father, when asked about Prahlad Joshi's comments, said that his son had scored 97% in the PUC and still did not get a medical seat in India. These are the reasons why Indian students go abroad to study medicine. Now, one can clearly see that there is a demand-supply gap. Last week, Prime Minister Modi during a webinar expressed the same, although I would agree that it could have been said in a better empathetic manner. He hinted at more participation of private sector to fill this gap. As far as Prahlad Joshi's statement goes, I wouldn't disagree with it either, but saying this when thousands of students are stuck fearing for their life in Ukraine is sheer insensitive. To all those who are blaming the Indian students for going abroad and maybe not coming out of the country on time, I would say put yourself in the shoes of those students and their parents. On one hand, you have a situation of raging war. Cities are being bombed. On the other hand, you have to worry about your future, your career, education loan that you have taken up. These students are victims, and their demands of help from the embassy, their own country, or even their complaints of lack of it are not unreasonable. It is the duty of the Indian government to do so. At the last, as a fellow citizen, just have a little bit of empathy towards these students and give them the space to speak up about their concerns, about their complaints, and even the praise. At this hour, they need our support, not shooting down their messages. Do let us know what you think about this in the comment box below. For more news and updates, you can log on to www.hwnews.in. Also, if you want to support our journalism, please go to www.hwnews.in/subscribe and take up the plan that you want to choose. When you choose to pay us, you help us survive, you help us to thrive. So please do go to our website and support us. And if you want to become a member on our YouTube channel and join our YouTube community, you can do so by clicking on the join button besides the subscription option on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching this. We'll meet you in the next episode.
नफरतों का बाजार, सपनों का कारोबार जारी है। अच्छे दिन तो झांकी थे, अमृतकाल अब बाकी है। मन की बात आप तक पहुंचती है, लेकिन आपकी आवाज का क्या? जिन्हें लोकतंत्र का चौथा स्तंभ कहते थे, वे अब सत्ता की गोद में हैं, सत्ता के सामने नतमस्तक हैं। लेकिन अब भी कुछ आवाजें हैं, बेखौफ, बेबाक, जिन पर लोगों को भरोसा है। चेहरा बदला है, तेवर वही है। देखिए मुझे, सतीश शाह को HW न्यूज़ पर।